Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, guys. I was talking and I was muted. Thank you, Nicholas, for letting me know. And I do apologize. So let's start all over again. Sorry for those of you watching on YouTube. I'll have to edit the YouTube video if they're recording. But basically, what I was saying was that today's topic on our next level session is dynamic property-based, property data-based kvCORE smart campaigns. And the premise here, as I was talking about a minute ago, and none of you could hear me, was that all the squeeze links on kvCORE, meaning anytime you build a link to a specific set of property data, you make a property list, that list is always up to date with the real data. So if you come back in a year and you go to that same link, it's always going to show you the active listings, and all of the pendings and sold will have dropped off. The other premise here to set this up is that all of our area pages are dynamic too. So as you probably saw me doing when I was muted out here a minute ago talking to myself, I went to an area page from the bottom of my main homepage, and I came to Dunedin here, and all of this information, the most popular, the most expensive, the least expensive, all of this stuff is always up to date as well. Now, what we can do with this, what makes this useful, is that we can create interesting evergreen smart campaigns by just adding emails, even text, but emails especially, that just point people at these links. So we can build kind of interesting follow-up campaigns that provide information that people might find interesting without us having to create unique content. And then I have a little note here that these can also be added as blog posts as well. You know, they're good fodder for blog posts, because anything you send an email, if you're going to send an email and say, hey, today's neighborhood of the week is Dunedin, that could also be a blog post. Okay, turn into a blog post. So what I was hoping to show you guys today was kind of how to set this up, how to integrate these. The big thing though is put it in the back of your head that you can create as many segmented and sorted lists and areas as you want using kvCORE. Before I jump into the campaign section, I will also mention that these area pages, they exist for any zip code in any city and for most neighborhoods that are in your MLS. So the shortcut hack way to get to these is to just type your domain /areas and then / whatever zip code or city. So if I do 33707, it's going to bring up that zip code. Or if you're in Canada, I think it works for postal codes. So let me give you the format here. I'm going to chat to everybody watching live just kind of what the format is. If you want to save this link and try it on your own site, you can do that. Okay, so that's our setup. We can build interesting campaigns in kvCORE by just using the property data that we have on hand. So let's go into a smart campaign. We're going to do a lot of jumping around here because we also need to build these links. But let's say I have my existing buyer nurture 1-year campaign right here. And it's already got content in it. So I can do this for a campaign that already has content. Maybe you're using the default kvCORE campaign because you just got your hands on kvCORE. That's fine. Maybe you're using something a little more involved like this. This is available in the kvCORE library, by the way, if you want to clone it in. And maybe I want to pepper some other interesting info in here, but I don't want to create any more content. So that's kind of the scenario. So I'll go back into my campaigns and I'm going to go to templates, and I'll start adding email templates that point to these various things. Now, for now, I'm only going to do one of each type. I'll do a property data squeeze link, and I'll do a dynamic area one. But just know that you could create maybe 5 or 10 of each, right? That you're going to send in a smart campaign once a week. You can do as many as you want. But let's just do one of each now. So we're going to do, we'll call this property dynamic data. This is for me, the template name, just so I can find it later, dash. And let's do income properties, multi-unit. Okay. And then we'll do, for subject line, you can do like your area, Pinellas County list of the week. Right. And I maybe I'll start with income properties. Do that. So this format, you can always, if you want to follow a format for every email so people kind of get used to seeing this, you know, I could do income properties and I could do parentheses, Pinellas County list of the week. List of listings of the week. You can have a little fun with list of listings of the week. I'm sure you can come up with a better term for that. I'm kind of making it up on the fly. You can just say, hi, this week's interesting Pinellas County property list is income properties. These are all, more specifically, so you can go into it a little bit, right? More specifically, these are all properties available for sale with 2 or more units, right? That you can generate income from. Or if you want to live in one and rent out the other, or help paying your mortgage, that's an option too. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that in the process of sharing the link, you can naturally riff on the thing that you're sending, right? You can editorialize and maybe add a sentence or two. Click here to check out the income properties list. Now, if you see any that you like, feel free to reply anytime or text me at the number below, right? So that my cell number is going to be in the signature, right? So I'll click include signature, and I'll just do -Ryan to make it feel personal. And then the last thing I need to do, of course, is I need to link to the actual list. So Letitia's asking, is this similar to, say, an ad on Facebook? Yeah, the context is just a little different. So we do frequently talk about social posting, right? Where we post a list of properties, and this is using the similar functionality. And usually when we're doing that is we're just doing a post on Facebook, LinkedIn, or something, and we're saying, hey, here's our property list of the day. What I'm doing here is I'm adding these as email follow-ups within longer term smart campaigns. So I'm leveraging the actual list to make interesting content so that anybody who becomes a lead of mine will just naturally get these emails, like in a drip email sequence. We call them smart campaigns at kvCORE. So I need to get the income properties list. Now the way to get that, I'm a little scared that if I don't save this now, I'm going to add it first. Okay, then we'll come back to it. I'll just go to kvCORE in another window. And watch what I'm doing here. I'm trying to, you might do the same thing, like have kvCORE open in 2 different browsers, potentially. I don't know if that's going to work for me or not. Let's make me log in again. What you may want to do now that, thinking out loud, is you may want to create your property and area lists first and have them on a notepad. Because what you're seeing me do here is I got to go back and build that income properties list, right? So I'm going to lead engine, I'm going to build squeeze page, and then I'll go Pinellas County, Pinellas, Florida, and then listing type will be income, right? And then that's all I really need. And as you see me do this, just know that pretty much any way you can slice and dice your IDX, that becomes an interesting list, right? So you can kind of get inspiration by just looking at the different listing types, looking at the different options down here to come up with interesting lists. Of course, you can also segment by square footage, acreage, beds, baths, price range, everything else. So now I'll just generate the link, copy it, and then I can put it in my template. It's going to let me get away with this. So, I put dynamic. Yeah, dynamic data. That's the. I had to remember that to know what to search for. So then I'll just put my link here, like that. So it takes a couple of minutes to do each one, but one of the most frequent requests, I see people asking for is, hey, does anybody have any smart campaigns, like templates that I can use? And every time I see that, I shake my head a little, and I think, generic stuff just doesn't work. You got to try to be a little more interesting than that. And it is tricky to be interesting, and to create interesting content. But if you use the property lists as your guide, you don't need to be that creative. You just need to come up with an interesting list and then riff for a sentence or two about them. So I'm going to click update template for that one. And then I'll answer a question here. Another one from Letitia. Yeah. Do these squeeze pages save somewhere in your account? I don't think we're saving them as of right now. I know that we started, I think there's plans to save them. Let me look real quick. I'm a little out of the loop with what product's doing. Let me look here. I don't think they're saving. Yeah. I'm glad I looked. Yeah, they are saving actually, Letitia. Yeah, thank you, Jeannie. Yep, they are there. I couldn't remember. I knew we did it for landing pages, but I didn't know if we had done it for squeezes yet. Yeah, so they're in there. That's great. So what I would do, guys, for this approach is go and build, say, 10 squeeze links, right? And just build those out first. The ones that you plan to put in your campaign. And then do the same for area links as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do one for an area page. And remember, I showed you the hack. It's a little simpler to build. I'll just do, let's pick another time. Let's pick Dunedin today. And this link will take me to my neighborhood of the week. Pinellas County neighborhood of the week. So I'll just put this copied on my clipboard. And now let's build a template in the Smart Campaign section for neighborhood of the week. Go to templates, add template email, dynamic. I'm using dynamic so I can find these later. When you know the template naming right here, it is kind of important because you're going to need to search and find them later in order to put them into your campaign. So dynamic neighborhood of the week, Dunedin. All right, and then we'll do Pinellas neighborhood, Pinellas neighborhood of the week. Dunedin. If any of you are local to me, I realize Dunedin is a city, not a neighborhood, but just roll with me here. All right, so this week's Pinellas neighborhood of the week is Dunedin. And then what you can do, right? So I should do hi, and then always remember you can merge in the first name right here. See the little sun right here? Hi, first name is Dunedin. And then what would I do? I would riff, right? So Dunedin's a great little town. Was that north? I don't know. Man, I'm not native here. It's a great little town with lots of fun stuff to do. Definitely check out my friend Andy's House of Beer. I think that's what his bar is called. when you're over there, you can see a current list of all available homes in Dunedin, as well as some local neighborhood stats. Click here now, and we can do something like, and if you'd like to schedule a quick tour of all of a few properties in Dunedin, reply to this email or text me at any time. So I know it might be a little boring watching me type all this out, but I think what I'm trying to do is give you guys some kind of templates, things that you could just kind of copy and paste and use and just plug in your own stuff. So the format here is, hey, here's the neighborhood of the week, a little editorialization about it. The call to action is to see the current lists, right? So click here now, paste that in. And then our call to action, we're going to end with, you can call me or text me at any time. Got a little typo there. And then I'll just do Ryan. And then if you know something cool about the area or you want to plug a friend's business like I'm doing here, P.S. definitely check out my friend Andy's House of Beer if you're ever down there. Just tell him Large March sent you. Who gets the reference? I use this reference all the time, and so many people look at me like, "What the heck are you talking?" Somebody gets the reference, right? All right, now we got to go on a tangent. We got to go a little ADD here, guys. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make you do it. I'm gonna make you watch it right now. It has nothing to do with content at hand. It's a little long. Here it is. Wait. All right, guys, sorry. Had to do it. You can't mention large Marge without looking at it, right? Okay. Come on, who else? I bet you everybody here knows what that was. A lot of times I'll say it to like people who are like 10 years younger, like in their 30s or something, and it's just totally lost on them. I say it to my kids all the time. Tell them large Marge sent you. Okay, so that's an example of a local neighborhood email, right? So I'll add the template now. So just think, so if you did 10 property lists and you did 10 local neighborhoods, and I'm sure we all can do more than 10, right, in our area, you get those made up. It might be a little tedious. Maybe you schedule a recurring appointment with yourself. That's something I like to do. I get, you get bored doing these repetitive tasks, but if you schedule an appointment with yourself once a week and say, hey, add a neighborhood or property list of the week template, and it takes you 10 minutes, and then you just have that appointment with yourself next week and you grow out the campaign. You don't have to do it all at once because you only need to stay ahead of the people on the campaign, if that makes sense. So then what we'll do is, now that we've got a couple of templates created, we'll go into our smart campaigns. Again, I'm just going to enhance an existing campaign. You could always start fresh with this. So I'll go to Buyer Nurture 1-year campaign, and then we'll go to Add Action. So I actually had starter home and investment property in this. Now that I remember, it talks a little bit about living in one unit of a multi and then renting out the other. So good timing might be to put this like 2 days after that. So I'm going to add action email. I'll do dynamic income properties, right? Just some note for me. I search dynamic data, multi-unit income properties. I can view the template, just preview it, just make sure it's the one I was thinking about. And then my time unit is 16 days. So like that, and hit add. Now, again, when this email goes out on day 16, it's going to be up to date. It's going to show them the income properties. Yeah, that's what Dimitri is asking me right now. Do the squeeze pages data info update dynamic automatically? Yeah. So the fancy word I'm using for that, I'm calling it dynamic. So I think I probably got that term. I don't know if it's an actual term. Probably back in the day when IDX was first coming around, I think it was used a lot, like dynamic data, maybe. But yes, all those squeeze links are always up to date, which is the cool feature here. So we can build our smart campaign one time and know that we're just sending people interesting stuff, right? Like, oh, cool, let me check out that list of multifamily properties in Pinellas. And then next week they're going to get, hey, here's a list of golf homes priced over $1 million. Here's my property search for a week. And then the next week they get, here's all open houses priced under 300K. Here's all the waterfront. So you're telling a story. But really what we're doing from a marketing perspective is we're telling a story about real estate in our market. And every time somebody gets this email, what do they call them in there? The endorphins? Is it the endorphins? Whatever. The wires in our brain, right, are kind of rewired. I think I read that in one of Tony Robbins' book, right? One of his big ones, about how your brain gets rewired. Anyway, I'm going into territory I don't know enough about. But basically, they're seeing emails from you related to real estate in your area. They get a little bit of hit of dopamine or whatever. It's like kind of fun. They click, they use some interesting properties, but they're attaching that activity to you because the email came from you. And then that's kind of a quality touch. And when they become ready to buy or sell, they reach out to you. I guess I just basically explained the whole reason why people do drip campaigns, but I think that sending this dynamic data is a little more interesting than being like, hey, and sending some like drip canned content that some guy wrote, frankly, for no other reason than because he knew he could sell it to you, right? That's what a lot of drip content out there on the market is. It was somebody decided it was a good business opportunity to sell the agents, but a lot of times it's just canned and dripped and it saves you time from having to write it. But if you go this route, you don't really need to be too creative. You can just kind of leverage those links. So thanks, Letitia. Yeah, I'm kind of like trying to hammer home the reason why, and I highly recommend stuff like this versus canned content. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So what you just saw me do was 2 versions. I did an area of the week. Did I add the area yet? Did not. I did a squeeze link of the week. And now let's just add our area so you can see that exercise again. And then we'll call it a day for the featured content. So we'll add another one, email, dynamic, area of the week, Dunedin, dynamic, now that it's created, I just go search for it. I'll just double check that that's the right template. Yep. And then we'll do time unit. I'll just pick 23 days in or something like that. And hit add. So I have all this other content going out. You guys are welcome to use this campaign. It's in the library. You would clone it in, and it was designed to be pretty generic. You know, it's my version of canned content, but what I'm doing is I'm just linking out the cool stuff on YouTube, you know, and some original content that doesn't sound too canned. And then now we're interspersing these areas of the week and these listings of the week into this. So, and, you know, with a few hours work, you know, it is work. Like I said, a recurring appointment, maybe 10 hours a week, 10 minutes a week, you can kind of add one at a time. But what you'll end up with at the end of the day is something that really feels fun to the people receiving it. I think that's the more important thing. And the other advantage to doing this is that you are not sending canned content that a couple hundred other agents are sending. Remember, the internet service providers, the email providers like Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, they are crawling and watching all the content that's being sent. So if you're sending the same email that the agent down the street is sending, but they are kind of being tagged as a spammer for whatever reason, you know, the people are hitting the spam button for them. Well, you get penalized because Gmail thinks that that same email content you're sending is spam. What this approach does is it kind of insulates you from that because you're creating unique content, but you're not having to be too creative. You're just leveraging your IDX. All right. I think I hammered it home. So that good, everybody? I've gotten some nice feedback already. Thank you for the feedback. It does help me because I feel like I'm just talking to myself. So thanks, guys. But bottom line is use the dynamic features of the area pages and squeeze links to build yourself some pretty sweet smart campaigns. And of course, you know, if you don't want to build smart campaigns, you can always just send it out as a mass email. I think we talk about that a lot. You can say, hey, here's the area of the week. You do it manually once a week. And you check out Dunedin, right? Then you link to Dunedin. Okay, so let's transition now into the Q&A section of our adventure. Does anybody have anything related to kvCORE, the real estate business in general, anything that you want to kind of talk about now? I'm here for a little while longer. We can do that. I'll remind everybody that we do put these recordings in the Next Level members area alongside a lot of other trainings and templates and all that other stuff. You can learn about Next Level by going to the marketplace, and we're under the coaching section. Next Level Mastermind. You can check that out and get a 7-day trial. Or most of these, a good number of them, we do put on the YouTube for people to watch because we do like it for people to be aware of this stuff to get better success with kvCORE. So you can find this stuff on YouTube. It's just organized a little better at Next Level. I will also plug, she might not like me for doing this, but Heather's Done For You Success Services. People are really enjoying these. The only issue is I think she's a little backed up. It's a little bit busy, but if you guys do want some of this stuff executed for you that you see us doing, there's potential to get a kind of a quote right in there. So I'll plug that now. And while I'm doing that, and while I'm killing time waiting for somebody to ask questions for the Q&A section, I will also plug something that you've probably seen our marketplace team plugging. It's the Smart Social Leads. So I'll just give those guys a little hand. These are basically carousel ads for listings. That is kind of like a better version of Property Boost. I would call it a more kind of evergreen, always running version of Property Boost for you. And it can really generate some nice cost per lead and consistency. So Jeannie's asking a good question. What is the limit of the email we can send at a time? I don't think there's a limit. Man, don't hold me to it. I think I knew this answer and I forgot it. I think with the mass sends, I don't think there is much of a limit, but don't hold me to that. I think you can get a lot out this way. It might cap at 10,000 or 5,000 or something. I think when you try to do it from the Smart CRM, you become limited by how many you can filter at a time. And we may have limits on text. So let's see if I can answer this live. Otherwise, I'm going to reference our help docs, email limits. Yeah, I don't know. If there is a limit, it's high on the schedule mass email. It's just set at a level where if you're sending that many, you're probably spamming. You know, I don't see much reason why too many people using kvCORE would send more than 10,000 emails unless you kind of bought a list somewhere. But I guess some larger teams might. But yeah. You wondered if it was safe. So, Jeannie, it depends who the 10K were, you know. Did you organically generate those over the years? That's what I would be worried careful about, because if those people don't know you at all, you might get a high unsubscribe rate. Or if enough of those people say, hey, this is a spam email, even if it's a fine email, but they don't really know who you are and they just hit the spam button, it could hurt your deliverability moving forward. So, you know, try to only mass email people who kind of know who you are. And that's why it's important to, as you get new leads, to do the things we talk about, like automated property alerts, sending this interesting content, so that people don't suddenly get an email from you 2 or 3 months later and have no idea who you are. So the YouTube channel, Demetria, is insiderealestate.com/webinars. It'll just take you to our playlist of these webinars. That'll also be landing you on our channel. Do we have tracking for open rate and clicks? We do, but the big problem with that is that Apple in particular, and some of the other big tech companies, I think, are following suit. They're blocking that tracking. So it's not extremely accurate. But the way to see opens, there's a few ways. If you come to your dashboard and you go to this activity tab right here, and you go to email events, you can see who's opening and who's clicking. But a lot of times you'll get false positives on Apple in particular, because it'll just treat everything as an open. Little not ideal. And you know, we created this about a year ago, launched it, and then like 2 months later, Apple, we finally got this feature live, and then Apple kind of ruined our party. But yeah, here's where you would go to see it. The other place you could see it is within the timeline. So if I go to Jeff here, you'll see that little envelope right here. It says that he opened all these. So this guy, look, this is a really good example, guys, of the importance of property alerts. He's opening every alert according to the system here. So somebody like this, you should probably be calling him, right? Just to say hi. No problem, Jeannie. Nope. Rose, you can't see who tags as spam. I don't think that information is reported back by the email people. Does the open rates work with Gmail? I think it does, unless Gmail has followed Apple into that adventure. So the way to, let's go like a little next level on that question. The way to really know would be to embed trackable links into your emails. So, and you may not even know who it was, but if you want to know if it's kind of getting clicked and opened, you could use a bit.ly or something like that. So a while back, I used to obsess about all this stuff in my own journey as a marketer. And, you know, years back, I figured out that, you know what, I could obsess about all this and lose time, or I could just send really good stuff, you know, as good as I can. I can create the best possible education-based, value-added content that I can. And I just trust that if I'm doing that, people are going to reach out to me. And so far, that's worked out well. The only problem with that is that it's a little bit of you got to have a little faith in the process in the beginning, because it does take a little while for that goodwill to build up and for you to get results. Jeannie's asking, where can I see a history of emails sent? I think that's something they're working on. We get that request a lot. I want to go somewhere and see all emails in chronological order. We don't quite have that yet. The only place you'll find something like that is in the scheduled mass emails that you've done. So if you use that feature, you'll see your previous ones right here. But we don't have one dash where you just see it all in order, which I agree would be useful. Okay, just great questions, guys. I'm just scrolling up, making sure I'm not missing anybody here. Kim's asking, when creating a landing page, is it possible to collect name in addition to the email and phone? Not currently. That is being worked on. Just, you know, I definitely agree there are situations where you'd want that. But in general, for lead generation, the more fields you have, the lower the response. I understand you'd want the name in order to maybe address people in your follow-up emails. So what I've requested and what I think they're working on is that this phone right here, the require phone, and then you'd be able to check that you want the email and that you want a phone, and also that you want to either require each one or not require. So a little more functionality. The short-term workaround is to just use third-party forms and then zap the data into kvCORE. So Cognito forms, Typeform, Jot form, all the Google forms. If you need more data than just that, you can kind of build landers on all those platforms and then use Zapier. Marxism talking crazy stuff. I don't know what crazy, what I was talking about at the time. Let's see. So Ivy's saying a good idea is to create lists to put on a separate page on their website and direct people to the website depending on the forum. Yeah, so I do that. So like, I love these squeeze links, the dynamic links. So, here's my deals links page. I think we just showed this yesterday too, right? So you can have a page, it's different themed links. So my income properties, foreclosures, fixers, land listings under 100K. I got to adjust that up, don't I? Recently priced income properties with motivated sellers, three bedroom single family homes priced between 100 300 to buy and hold. This I need to adjust up too. I probably made this about a year ago, and some of these things do not exist anymore. Okay, yeah, but Ivy definitely these also make for good blog posts. So, you do a blog post, hey, the area of the week is Dunedin. The highest priced house in Dunedin right now is, you can really use the data to create content. Letitia, your question I'm not following. Where else did you mention we can post to get the emails with a lead? Not sure on that question. So Jeannie's asking, how do you set up auto property alerts as they come in? Yep. So the way to do that, the system will actually try to do it automatically if they see the person searching for properties. But I like to recommend that on every new lead source you have, just take a minute to set up an alert campaign. So if I go to marketing and then I go to search alerts right here, I can create an alert based on the hashtag of the lead coming in. So say that hashtag is Zillow, whatever. And then you would set the alert, the criteria. Oh yeah, the embedded link in the email for tracking. Yeah. There's a guy whose email list I'm on who puts a little iframed cookie in your emails. It's pretty advanced, but he bypasses the tracking 100% and makes it your own tracking. But that, like I said, man, what are you really going to do with that information? Like, if I find out somebody opened my email, is it really worth my time to stalk them right there and then? That's what I always wonder. I can see certain sales situations where you want proof, like those Gmail add-ons. So you want to know that it was read and received. But practically, knowing their email, it's not going to give me any way to really force them to do business with me right now. I would just send another email or a phone call or something, I guess. Letitia says, can this only go to people in our CRM? Yeah, the mass emails and stuff would go to people in your CRM. You can import people. Just be careful with that. You don't want to import people who haven't opted in, more or less. That's not good. So Jeannie's asking, when people come in from the landing page, do they get a list of the properties at the time, or do they get the weekly, monthly? Oh yeah, I kind of glanced over that in the auto alerts. You can set the frequency. So at the bottom of each of these, you set the frequency down here. Daily is usually fine. I've never heard anybody say, hey, stop sending me this listing info every day. All they'll say is, I'm not looking. But they won't say, can you send it less frequent? That I don't remember that ever happening. But maybe your sphere of influence, if you set them up on alert, maybe you set them up once a week or once a month and say, hey, I'm sending you listings, so you always know the value, what's going on in the market. But new leads daily should be fine. Ivy, I'm reading your question about the lead routing. Oh, probably because they were already lead in there. I think that's the spirit of your question. They were already a lead in the system, so it didn't create a new lead. But I think there's a way to have it add extra notes if that's what you're asking. Might be over my pay grade. It might be a support thing. I'm not quite sure. Good question from Rose. If we delete the search alerts from the marketing session, will it delete it to the leads profile? No. I'm like 99% sure. Just because the way that that fires, it's based on it sees the hashtag and then it attaches it to the customer. But deleting that in that part of the system won't remove all the existing. I feel pretty confident saying that. Just my surface knowledge of kind of how things like this are built. If I find out different, I'll let you know. But I don't think so. I guess I could test it, but you could test that. Just create an alert, set up a hashtag on your own contact record, and then go delete that alert. How can we mass delete the search alerts profile? You would need to do it one at a time for each contact. Why would you want to mass delete? Just curious, all the search alerts. Because I could just come in here and just remove alerts. There wasn't one on this contact, but that if that's what you're asking, Rose, yeah, you can do it to the one profile at a time. Maybe that's what you're saying. So you just go to the alert section of their record here, and then you delete out the alert. Okay, Jeannie's referring to the list of homes, like 55 or pools. So we might be talking about two separate things. So when somebody comes in as a lead, say they came to my page here, a landing page, and they would get added to the system the same way if you used a squeeze link, if they were prompted to register. So when I enter a lead here, it's going to get the deals. So demo lead deals. Just add a fake lead here. So this will take them to the property list that I offered. Or if they went to a squeeze link, it would just take them straight there. So when I did that, the lead is now in my smart CRM. So they get the properties right away that you offered. That's based on how you configure that. And then the system sees the hashtag 727 deals and it attaches a property alert. Now, I'm now realizing that I don't think I have a 727 deals property alert set up, but that's what it would do. It would then set up the auto alert and it would start going out. I'm surprised I don't have that set up. I think I changed the hashtag at some point. Let me see here. Yeah, I had deals set up, but it wasn't 727 deals. Oops. All right, that's fixed. But you see what I'm saying? It'll create you can give them the initial list as part of your flow, and then it'll create the moving forward alerts. So Rose is saying she accidentally added it to all your leads. I wouldn't lose a second of sleep about that. Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They're going to say, why are you sending me these alerts? I don't like this property. I want 3 bedrooms instead of 2. That would be a good result. So I just change it moving forward, but don't worry too much about it. That would be my advice. So Letitia saying, yeah, the leads would come off. Well, it would come off a landing page. It would come off of squeeze link. That comes down to how you're generating traffic. If you're using Property Boost, a lead could come in that way. If you're using Zillow and you're integrated, Realtor.com, ZBuyer, how the lead gets in, there's 100 ways to do that. But the actual follow-up stuff in kvCORE is fairly standardized. And it's kind of what I talk about a lot. The automated alerts, these campaigns that we talked about earlier today, it kind of works the same for any lead source. Yeah, kvCORE allows searches for individual neighborhoods. Pretty sure. Now that I like this deal page that we were talking about a minute ago because it's kind of a really quick and dirty way to do it. So, if I just go areas/Gulfport, it kind of gives me the searches. And in fact, I can come down here and grab all the new listings that reduce the open houses at a glance. Here's all 99. I can click that and I get myself a link real quick to all of them. But you can come into your squeeze, you can either search from the front of your site or you can come to your build squeeze page section here and do a search based on a neighborhood, or you can draw on a map, which might even be better. So you just draw area, you can do it like that. The smart alerts are not an add-on service. They're included with kvCORE. You can create as many of those as you want. Jeannie, you would add the smart alert, the automated alerts based on your sources. So what the system does with automated alerts is if they see somebody searching, if the software sees somebody searching a bunch of properties and they see them search a $1 million house, 700, and then a 600, and then it's in a certain neighborhood, it'll do its best to automatically configure an alert. But let's say the person came in off of a property boost or a Zillow lead or something, and they didn't search at all. The system doesn't really know what to create for them. So I like to just use that feature for the automated alerts. And whenever I have a new lead source, I just quickly go and set something up so that they're at least getting something. And, we talked about drip campaigns earlier in this session, but really the best drip campaign is the search alerts. It's the easiest, fastest, and it's most in line with what people want to see, new listings. Great questions, guys. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Letitia, and I talk fast, so that's get that feedback a lot. So yeah, just rewind our videos and slow me down. Remember, you can always in the video. I like to share this tip because it's a great productivity tip for anybody who doesn't know. The little gears on the bottom of these players, you can listen faster or you can listen slower. So I just put myself on 0.25 speed, and now I'm at 1.75. I'm talking really fast, and then normal right there. All right, guys. Where can you find a list of all your own hashtags? Yeah, we recently added that. Hashtag management is under marketing. I think it might be under lead engine. So let's look under marketing. Yeah, so under marketing and then hashtag management, and then you can go view hashtags, and they'll all be in there. Cool. Okay, guys. I think I'm going to call it a day. These were great questions, great Q&A. Hopefully, everybody will kind of put this dynamic property data stuff in the back of your head. Maybe add some of these, pepper them into your smart campaigns, or use them, in other ways. But definitely some really cool kvCORE functionality that is underutilized, in my opinion. Definitely use this because there's lots of possibilities. Cool. All right, guys, have a good one. I guess tomorrow we'll be back at the same time to wrap up the week, and I'll see you at 2 p.m. on Thursday. Okay, great. Thanks, Damien. All right, see you guys later.